That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back into the Annie Fry Show. We're still talking with Aaron Tarlow of Southern Armory right here in St. Louis. It's a great place to go check out any array of gun that you might be interested in looking at. Ammo, safes, everything, holsters, accessories, the whole gamut is there, and he knows everything about everything in his store, which I've learned. You just have to love what you do to know as much as you do, and you know it all. I
don't know about all of it.
At least everything in the store
in
you
the
do.
store we know what's going on.
We could ask your wife about how much else you know.
Yeah, she'd tell you I know everything. You know.
I wanted to bring up about your wife, because your wife works side by side with you in the store, and
she does our general day-to-day operations. So when we got the business first started, the plan was for her to transition over, and I was there all the time. I mean, I was getting like one day off a month, and my employees were like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, "I slept."
Caught up for the next 30 days.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like, where'd you sleep? I'm like, well, on the bed, and then in the recliner, and then I moved to the couch, and then I moved back to the bed. It was a great day. So then my wife came over, and she took over, general operations. So you're going to see her there quite often.
When someone asks her a gun question as a woman, does she ask you for the answer?
No. If she doesn't know, she'll be like, "Hey, Aaron, Declan, Brad, whoever's there. Hey, do you guys know this?" And generally with her, she's not an AR-15 person. So she knows a little bit about them, but she's not like, "Oh yeah, you need this, and this, to do this." But with her, what I love is when men come in.
Yeah.
And try to tell her about.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you get someone who could help me?
Yeah, and then
here I am.
Yeah, or they start giving her a hard time, and well, I want to talk to the manager about getting a better price on this gun, and she goes, "Oh, okay," and then she's like, "Hi, here I am."
Here's the manager. It's me.
So I
do happen to be a woman, also.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. The older men come in, they give her a hard time. You really don't know what you're talking about, and she's like, "Yeah, I do," and you see them like it just shuts them down, and I personally I love it.
Sure.
Because they're coming through, and I get it. It's a generational thing with the stereotypes. Just like women should only have revolvers. So I just like it. We're kind of breaking the mold a little bit, and these older guys, in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they're just not used to seeing, an empowered woman that knows more about guns than they do.
And I bet a lot of them, once they realize that she does know what she's talking about, I bet they love it too. I bet this is the coolest chick I know.
Yeah, I've been told that. They're like, does she have a sister? I'm like, actually, she does. She has two. One's married, and they live on the East Coast. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So we were talking in the first segment here about my foray into learning about handguns so that I can purchase one, and then I'm going to learn how to carry it. I live in Illinois, so the circus is over there on the east side, and we have a Democratic state senator who wants to eliminate the FOID card, which is like, sit there and process that for a second. We have a Democratic, I did say that correctly, state senator who wants to eliminate the FOID card.
It's just they had to register as a Democrat. They're really Republican in disguise.
And the only way that you can actually get anything done over there. But Missouri has relaxed some of the laws, a lot of the laws, really.
Yeah,
How has that affected business, or what people are coming in to talk to you about? Has it made a change at all for what you experience?
Over the years, I've noticed little things. The biggest one is the constitutional carry, and man, people just don't understand that.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Well, clear it up for me.
Okay. So constitutional carry, if it was a straight constitutional carry, you'd be able to carry anywhere in the state county, city, anywhere in the state.
Wild Wild West type of.
Right. And I don't know about Wild Wild West, but, you'd be able to carry without a permit,
Gateway
right?
to the West, yeah.
No training requirement. Just as long as you can legally possess the gun, then you can carry it. So we don't have a full constitutional carry here. Basically, you can carry the firearm concealed on your person anywhere that you could legally open carry. Everybody's like, oh, well, open carry is legal in the state. Like, yep, it is, but not everywhere in the state.
And it's a pretty important thing to know the difference between where is okay and where is not.
Yeah, so most of your cities, St. Louis City, Kansas City, the two biggies, there's more when you get into St. Louis County and Jefferson County that have said, we're not going to allow open carrying of firearms here. Now, in the state law, there's a preemption saying if you have a CCW permit, then you can open carry anywhere you want in the state. So basically what we've done is, I kind of set it up as like an A permit and a B permit. A permit is when you go to get the class, you do the 8 hours, you go down to the sheriff's department, you apply for it, and then they give you the card. That is the A permit. You can carry anywhere you want in the state now, minus, the 16, 17 places prohibited by state law and obviously federal law too. When you get the B permit is like, I'm a citizen, I'm breathing, and I'm allowed to possess a firearm legally. Now you're only able to carry in places that do not have an ordinance against the open carry.
And how do you just have to research that yourself?
You do. And the problem is it's not standard. Like when you come take our class, I'm like, hey, handgunlaw.us, it'll help you find the laws in the 50 states and understand gun law, knife law, high capacity magazines, pepper spray, all that stuff is in here, even body armor. So before you travel, and every state you travel through, you need to know what the laws are and, what the use of force is there too, what's justifiable. Some states require you to run away. Some states, they
Illinois.
don't. Yeah, Illinois. Duty to retreat.
Shocking.
And, Missouri's not like that. So, I tell people, like, Missouri is very laxed. So when you travel outside of Missouri, you're going to find a lot of the same places like carrying churches, polling places, government buildings. Those are pretty much universal. But then there's other places like Nebraska, one of our neighboring states, can't carry in semi-professional or professional stadiums. Well, Missouri is just 5,000 seats or more.
Yeah.
So a little bit of difference. Also, Nebraska, you can't carry in financial institutions or banks. Missouri, you can unless it's, posted off limits private property. So you just... little differences. The other big one is duty to inform an officer that you have a firearm on you.
Like in a traffic stop?
Right, traffic stop. Or let's take that one step further. Let's say you had a vehicle accident, right? Right. You should tell the fire department and the EMS. So I know.
Yeah.
And really what my bigger concern is not that you've got a gun. It's, oh my God, you rolled your car 3 times. Where is the gun at?
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because it's not in the glove box anymore, and it's not under the seat. It's somewhere in the car or in the debris path leading to where
we need to reacquire.
Yeah, the firearm.
Gun. Yeah, definitely.
So it's not a big deal, but that's one thing I recommend if you have an interaction with the fire department, EMS, or law enforcement. It's not a big deal. We're really used to it here in Missouri now. We've just been carrying for so long, and my department and all the departments that I work with, they all have an operating procedure for it. We have a vehicle safe actually on the ambulance, so we send you to the hospital with your gun.
Yeah,
So,
so you keep talking about these classes that you offer and how you teach it. Tell me about at Southern Armory. If I want to educate myself, which is at least in my pursuit here to have a handgun and feel very confident with it, education is key. So important. Yes, it's absolutely key. What do you offer at Southern Armory to help people who are at my place, which is like basically square one, or people who, gun laws are changing
constantly,
they're fluid, and you have to constantly be up to date on it. So what can people get from Southern Armory in that capacity?
If you're starting at square one or even square zero, come in, because the firearms are a personal item. What your husband likes, what your father-in-law likes is not going to be what you like. And I tell a lot of men, hey, when you come in, if you're going to pick out a gun for your loved one, you might as well get something you like, because if they don't like it, they don't like the shape, the size, the weight, the color, they're not going to carry it.
Yeah.
So normally I tell men, hey, come in and bring your wife in. So square zero is making sure you get a gun that fits you, that you like. You had some experience with rifle shooting, shotguns and whatnot. And I've found that those shooters, because they know how to read the sights, they excel at handguns.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of crossover. You got to learn the grip and stuff, but you know a lot of the battle. So we've seen a lot of women that are like, oh, I go deer hunting all the time, and then they get into handguns and they're proficient. They may not know how to unload, load, do the failure drills, but they know how to,
They have a little bit of a clue. Yeah,
Right.
when I walked in and we went over to the wall where you have all these handguns on the wall, and you handed me one, and you're like, what do you think about this? And I let you lay it in my palm, and I'm like, I don't even know how to hold it. So I was like, put this in my hand the way it's supposed to go in my hand, and then I will tell you what it feels like. But I mean, I'm generally a person who doesn't want to put myself into that position where I'm like, I have no freaking clue what I'm doing here.
You feel vulnerable.
Yeah, you feel vulnerable. You feel stupid. You don't want to ask a dumb question. And I said to you, like, the first thing I said was, I'm going to ask all the dumb questions I can think of, because if I don't have the answer to them, it's not dumb to me.
And the one thing that we have that all of our employees are is firearms instructors. So they live, breathe, teaching proper education and making sure you're safe, versus a big box store. It's like, I'm just here because I'm in college and I need a job.
Yeah.
When you come into our store, there's a huge difference in the quality of service you're going to get.
Yeah, the access to specific knowledge and
Right.
the history that how many of any particular handgun you might sell, and you get feedback on those, I'm sure.
Yep.
And how many of you shot yourself? Like
I got a couple safes.
Yeah, so I really value being able to just basically put myself in your hands and say, tell me what I need to know.
Right.
And being able to kind of surrender that feeling of inadequacy and not feeling like if I'm going to ask something to you, you're going to kind of roll your eyes and be like, are you kidding me? You're going to be in here buying a handgun. Because truthfully, it is my right to defend myself.
Absolutely.
And it's your job, which you take very seriously, to educate me and put me in a position to do that in the most intelligent way that I can.
Yeah. And the biggest reason that we want to do that for you is because when you buy a gun, you represent the firearms community. So you go do something improper with that. It doesn't matter if you have 1 hour of training or if you've had 100 hours of training. The media is not going to make a distinction. My God, they owned a gun and they bought it legally.
Yeah.
And
who talks about that?
yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
And then if you have a CCW permit, oh man, hang on, because now they're going to be like, oh, and they even had a CCW permit, so they took 8 hours of training, or in Illinois, 16 hours of training, and they're going to make you look like the bad guy. I mean, I hate to beat a horse, but I mean, look at when our law enforcement officers have a shooting.
Yeah.
They run into, oh my God, it was so horrible, and they did something wrong, and and they're trying to demonize the gun, they're trying to demonize the police, they're trying to demonize everybody, and then, oh look, 3-6 months later it comes out, no, it was actually justifiable.
Yeah, and these people put themselves in harm's way for us when we would run from the situation if we can, and then, like you said, they put. The situation always ends up in the place of the gun. The discussion is about the gun. Maybe not as much with the police, but with anybody else. If you have the opportunity to defend yourself, well, if less people had guns, our police chief said it, and I talked about it last week on the show. There was an officer-involved shooting, and the officer shot the guy because the guy pointed a gun at him. Well, that's what the police officer's job is.
Right.
And the police...
Stop the bad guy.
And the police chief's response was he wanted to know why that felon was still able to get a gun. And I'm like, he's a felon. He breaks laws.
He didn't buy it legally.
Yeah, it's not like he went into Southern Armory and was like, Aaron, I'd like to have a gun.
Right.
And you were like, sure, just pick one out and walk out. That's not how it works.
Like, do this background check, and then, the smoke starts coming off the computer and the screen turns red with deny flashing on it.
Exactly.
So that's another great point, is that we actually have gotten several calls about people going, well, you don't have to do background checks on guns. I know you don't. And it's like, actually, we do. It's required by the feds.
If you want to stay in business.
Right. I mean,
right?
like, if I want to keep my license and not go to prison, then
that's what you do.
That's what I got to do.
So tell me, for the people who might be like me, who want to walk into Southern Armory and maybe just start the first conversation, or for people who are like my father-in-law who use guns as a hobby and knows a lot about them, what does Southern Armory have going on now or on any given day that is just keys into those types of people?
So we're going to have a lot of guns in stock, whether you're looking for something to go hunting with, whether it's something to defend yourself with, whether it's something just for entertainment purposes, whether you want like Dragon's Breath, which shoots a big trailing spark out. It's kind of like a firework out of your shotgun.
Fun.
Oh yeah, it's cool. Don't use it indoors.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Outdoor only. And when it's wet, not dry.
Okay.
Not that the fire department wouldn't like the run volume for brush calls. It's just let them stay in the department.
So there's a wide array of things you can get at Southern Armory.
Whether you're brand new, whether you're more of a collector, we've got CNR Kiro Relic firearms in there, like old Mausers. We've got M1 carbines. Occasionally we have M1 Grands in for the guys that like World War II stuff. And occasionally 1903 Springfields. And all this stuff rolls through the shop. We have a lot of people going, oh, when was the last time you got a Grand, M1 Grand in? Oh, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, how long did it last? About 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, shop through. We have our regulars that come in, a couple times a week, and they're looking at
to see what you got now.
Yeah, the new inventory, because it rolls over. I mean, if you want a Glock 19, we've got one of those on the wall too. But if you're looking for like an FAL from DS Arms or higher end AK, some of the more unusual stuff that you're not going to see, we've probably got it. And if we don't have it, we're happy to order it. I mean, we've even gone out to the point where we had a customer come in and goes, nobody can get this anywhere in St. Louis. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, who's the manufacturer? They tell me, and I'm like, I'll call them and find out what the story is. And I set up an account for the guy to get the gun that he wanted.
Yeah.
And the manufacturer is more than happy to sell us one gun to make the customer happy.
Sure.
So we've done that for customers in the past. That's not a big deal. We'll track it down. We'll locate it, even if it's something we know that we're never gonna stock in the store. We'll get it for you. We're here to help you.
And it starts with a conversation, coming in and seeing what's there, and then telling you what you're interested in.
And what I love is, like, on our Facebook page, we got a lady the other day, actually 5-star review, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what she bought. She had, looks like she had a good time. I read the comment. She goes, I didn't buy anything, but I went in there and talked to the gentleman, and I told them I wasn't going to buy anything, and they sat there and they talked to me and they educated me and they showed me a bunch of stuff, and I flat out told them I wasn't going to buy anything.
Yeah.
And it was like, it doesn't surprise me with my guys. Sure. They want to educate you. And the whole idea is we're not looking for the one sale and send you on your way. We're looking for the relationship. I want you to come in and, when your kid's getting ready to go from the high school into college, right? And, your daughter's getting ready to go off and live on her own. Come in. I've got stuff like pepper spray, door alarms, personal protection devices that have a strobe light and a loud siren, so if anybody messes with her, she can pull the cord.
That's great.
Now there's sound and everything else. If you've got somebody that's hitting that 21 marks, I don't know about today as much as back when I was in college, but like Rufalin, the date rape drugs, we're out there. Well, now we carry the testers in store, where they can take a little bit of their drink and put it on there, and if it changes colors, then they know. And if it doesn't, then they know they can drink it safely.
And it's just all about being confident and being able to be wherever you are
and be safe.
And be safe. And I kid about the way my husband will talk to me about guns or something from time to time, or my very loving father-in-law, and it's all because they care. It's all and they want nothing more than for me to be able to protect myself, because they care about me.
It's really done out of love, and sometimes the message isn't clear.
Sure. So when you're the father of the 21-year-old girl and you're like, here's your date rape tester, here's your clause, here's your alarm. This is the daughter sitting here going, Dad, stop.
Right.
Dad.
But at that same time, at 18, 19, 20, 21, they don't know.
They don't know.
They're clueless. And when I was 18 and I went to college, I immediately went in the fire service. I started working on a paramedic unit, and I got to see the other side. And I tell you right now, it was not the boys that we were picking up at the college. Ugh. It was the girls. Yeah. And was it date rape drugs? Some of it, yeah. A lot of it was they didn't know their limitations and they drank way too much. So the parent's job never really ends.
And it's their job to care too much.
Right. Way too much. And to give them the stuff that, I'll never use that. And I know that, my dad and my mom have given me stuff like, oh, I'll never use that. And then I use it. And I'm like, oh, man, they knew.
You'll never admit it.
Yeah. Well, maybe not.
You'll never tell them.
Not to them.
Not to their face. So if people want to find Southern Armory, what are all the ways that people can connect with you?
SouthernArmory.com. That's the biggest way to connect with us. Training schedules on there. So if you want dates for classes, pricing for classes, We have our firearms training simulator. So if you want to come in and get some one-on-one instruction in a safe environment where we're just shooting lasers at a wall, that's one way to do it. If you want to get some one-on-one instruction with a firearm, like what you and I did, where we go to a range and we do the live fire and we make sure that you're good to go. We spent like 3 hours together.
Yeah, super helpful to make a decision. Necessary to make a decision.
To find out, we were trying to figure out what gun you wanted, what gun you liked, and then I gave you, revolver, semi-automatics.
Yeah. And you walked me through the whole process.
Oh, everything. I mean, there was a lot that we pulled out.
Yeah.
So we can do something like that with customers. One-on-one. We prefer to keep the groups less than 2.
Yeah.
So like if you and a girlfriend wanted to come, hey, we're going to charge you, the same either way. So bring a girlfriend so you can split it. We get a lot of moms with their kids in.
Yeah.
Especially to use our firearms training simulator because it takes the curiosity out of the gun for them. They've gone in and they've shot, the balloon animals, they've shot the cowboys, they've shot zombies, and they're having fun with it. And then, mom gets in there and does the home invader, the carjacker, the robber.
Yeah.
And she feels empowered, and then the kids got the curiosity out of the way, so the gun is not mystified like, what is this? Also, our sales ads, every month, they change. Okay. So you can either join our mailing list on our website, and it'll say enter your email address, and then we'll send you an email. Did you really mean to do this? Yes,
Are you sure?
Yeah, I really meant to do this. And then after that, you get an email once a month from us, and that
all the sales.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's going on.
It's more than sales. The sales ad's obviously part of it, but. We write an article of some sort. It could be about constitutional carry. It could be about ammunition. It could be about holsters. It could be about sights. So we always try to change the topic up and educate our customer. Because if I educate you and then you have questions, well, now you can come back and you can ask me. It's not a big deal. You can actually hit reply in the email, and it comes back to me, and we can start a conversation like that. So if you want to stop in, great. I'd love to see you.
Where are you located?
9901 Watson Road, and we are 1 mile east of 270 and 44.
Real easy to get to.
Yeah.
Found it real easy.
You jump off the highway, and literally when you're at the light at Geyer and Watson, it's 1.1 miles. We're on the left. And I always tell people, I'm like, when you see people coming out of the McDonald's, pay attention to them because they don't know what they're doing. But we're the next plaza.
Yeah.
And so right across from Jim Butler Chevrolet, if you guys know where that is. But we're before Sappington on Watson, so before the old mall. And then
are you on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook, Southern Armory on Facebook. I think we're the only ones that pop up. It's been kind of interesting, Facebook.
Yeah.
With the way they change their terms of service and everything else. So
yeah.
we're here right now. We may not be there in a month if they change it. Who knows?
But SouthernArmory.com always.
Yeah, it's always going to be up. And
I browsed through all the inventory that is there, and it's really helpful to be able to see what I'm looking at and the specs on it and everything. And
yeah, and we try to, when we put our descriptions in on items, it's we're physically opening the box up and looking. Hey, there's 2 magazines and a speed loader and a cleaning rod, or it's a gun in a cardboard box with 1 magazine, and so their descriptions tend to be pretty right on.
Cool.
Occasionally we have a special edition or something in there, and those will vary a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, definitely we'll check it out. Stay tuned. There's going to be more from our little project that we're working on right now. We're going to be releasing it in the next few weeks, and I'm excited for you to see that. So Aaron Tarlow, Southern Armory, SouthernArmory.com. Thank you for giving us some of your time. It's been a pleasure.
You too. Thank you.
Up next, we're going to talk with Eddie Lowry of the Edwardsville Little Tigers Football Club. It's not about football. It's about that Glenn Carbon family with 7
Hey guys, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men is opening on the 20th of March, and I'll be there on the 23rd from 4